Building wealth isn't just about earning more. It's about making your money work smarter for you.
I have spent years as a certified finance coach working with people from all walks of life. From young professionals in the USA and the UK trying to save their first $10,000 to executives making six figures but still struggling to feel financially secure. And if there's one thing I've discovered, it is that money problems are rarely about how much you make. They are about the habits you build around the money you already have. I have seen people make over $200,000 a year and still feel broke. And I have seen people making $40,000 build quiet wealth that sets them free. It all comes down to habits. So in this video, I am going to walk you through 15 money habits that keep people broke no matter how much money comes into their account. The first habit is paying yourself last. I still remember one of my clients. Let's call him James. A software engineer earning close to $90,000 a year in the USA every month his paycheck came in. And the first thing he did was pay his rent, his utilities, his subscriptions, dinners with friends, and then hope something would be left over to save. The result was that nothing was left. Robert Kiyosaki called this the poor man's habit. Wealthy people do the exact opposite. They pay themselves first before anyone else. If you start putting aside 10% of your income the moment you get paid, treating it as though it were a bill, you will slowly but surely build wealth. James switched this one habit, and in less than a year, he had a savings cushion that completely changed his confidence about money. The second habit is lifestyle inflation. This is one I see all the time with professionals in London and New York. You get a raise, and suddenly, your one-bedroom apartment is not enough. You want a two-bedroom. Your 5-year-old car is not good enough, so you buy a new one on credit. Your meals shift from casual takeout to fancy dinners every weekend. And before you know it, your expenses rise to match your new salary. I had a client, Sarah, in the UK who doubled her income within 3 years, but her net worth stayed the same. Why? Because every increase in pay was swallowed up by lifestyle upgrades. If you want to escape being broke, you must resist lifestyle creep. Bank the difference when your income rises instead of spending it. The third habit that keeps people broke is living on debt. Credit card companies in the USA are designed to trap you. The average interest rate is 22%, and yet people swipe their cards for things as small as coffee, clothes, or birthday gifts. I worked with a young man named Mark who had over $12,000 in credit card debt from little things that piled up. He thought rewards points would save him, but the interest wiped out any benefit. I told him what I will tell you. If you cannot pay for it in cash, you cannot afford it. And using credit cards for wants instead of needs is one of the fastest ways to stay broke, no matter how high your income is. The fourth bad money habit is ignoring your numbers. You would be shocked at how many people do not know how much they truly earn after taxes or how much they spend every month. They swipe, they tap, they subscribe, and at the end of the month, they are shocked by their empty accounts. I had a client who literally said to me, "I feel like my money disappears into thin air." It wasn't magic. It was poor tracking. Wealthy people know their numbers. They know their income, their expenses, their assets, their liabilities. If you do not have a budget or at least a tracking system, your money will control you instead of the other way around. The fifth habit is having expensive hobbies without a financial plan. I am not saying you should not enjoy life. But I have seen people in the UK earning £50,000 a year spending thousands on designer clothes or latest gadgets without thinking twice. The problem is not the hobby itself. It is when your hobbies grow faster than your income. I had a client who loved luxury watches. He was buying one every 6 months. The watches were beautiful, but they were also eating up money that could have been invested. If your hobbies cost more than your savings, your hobbies are making you broke. The sixth bad habit is relying on only one income stream. One of the biggest lessons I teach my clients is this: your job is not enough. In the USA and the UK, layoffs happen without warning. If your entire life depends on one paycheck, you are one emergency away from financial disaster. Wealthy people build multiple income streams, investments, side hustles, businesses. One of my clients, a nurse in Texas, started selling digital products online. In 18 months, she built a side income that matched half her nursing salary. That income became her safety net. Without it, she would have been stuck living paycheck to paycheck forever. The seventh habit is paying too much in taxes by not knowing the rules. Taxes will be your single biggest expense in life. Wealthy people do not avoid taxes. They understand them. They use retirement accounts like Roth IRAs in the USA or ISAs in the UK. They operate under business structures that give legal tax advantages. But the average person just lets the government take as much as possible without asking questions. I worked with a client in California who reduced his tax bill by $10,000 a year just by restructuring how he invested. That $10,000 was then put into his brokerage account, compounding year after year. The eighth habit is waiting too long to invest. I see this so often. People say they are waiting to make more money before they invest. But the truth is, the earlier you start, the less money you need to build wealth. Inflation eats your cash every single year. When I show clients the numbers, their jaws drop. For example, if you start investing just $500 a month at age 25, by the time you are 65, you could have well over $1 million, depending on returns. But if you wait until age 35 to start, you will need to invest almost double to catch up. The time you lose is worth more than the money you think you are saving. The ninth habit is surrounding yourself with broke mindsets. I tell my clients this all the time. Your environment shapes your financial destiny. If your friends think debt is normal, if they think payday splurges are deserved, if they laugh at budgeting, chances are you will adopt those same habits. I worked with a client in Manchester who could not save because every Friday night his circle pushed him to spend hundreds at the bar. Once he began to change his circle, he was able to save consistently. Wealthy people protect their environment because they know habits are contagious. The 10th habit is believing that more money will solve all your problems. It will not. I have had clients who doubled or tripled their income and still ended up broke because they did not fix their money habits. More money only magnifies what you already do. If you spend recklessly at $50,000, you will spend recklessly at $150,000. I once had a client who earned over $200,000 a year but had less than $5,000 in savings. Why? Because his habits were broken. Until you change your habits, more money just makes the hole deeper. The 11th habit is not having an emergency fund. Life happens. Cars break down. Jobs get cut. Medical bills arrive without warning. In both the USA and the UK, most households cannot handle an emergency of even $1,000. I once worked with a client who had to put a $3,000 hospital bill on a credit card, and that debt haunted her for years. If she had even 3 months of expenses saved, she would have been protected. Having an emergency fund is like building a wall around your finances. Without it, one crisis can wipe you out. The 12th habit is ignoring inflation. Prices rise every year. If your money is sitting idle in a bank account earning almost nothing, you are losing purchasing power. I once showed a client how his £10,000 sitting in savings for 5 years had actually lost value because inflation had eaten away at it. Wealthy people know this, and that is why they invest in assets that grow faster than inflation: stocks, index funds, real estate. The 13th habit is not setting financial goals. A client once told me, "I just want to be rich," but when I asked how much money that meant, he had no answer. Wealthy people are specific. They say, "I want to save $50,000 in 3 years. I want to retire at 55 with $2 million. Without specific goals, you are like a ship without a compass. You drift. and drifting is a guaranteed way to stay broke. The 14th habit is emotional spending. Retail therapy is real. Stress, sadness, even boredom pushes people to shop. I once had a client who admitted that Amazon was her comfort zone. Every time she felt lonely, she clicked buy. At the end of the month, her credit card bill was a reminder of her emotions. Learning to separate emotions from spending is key. Journaling, exercise, talking to a friend, those should be your outlets, not your bank card. The 15th habit is ignoring financial education. Money is a language, and most people refuse to learn it. They can binge watch hours of television, scroll on social media endlessly, but they cannot read a single book about finance. Wealthy people stay students. They learn about investing, about taxes, about entrepreneurship. I once challenged a client to read one finance book a month. Within a year, his mindset completely shifted. Knowledge is free. Ignorance is expensive. If you are listening to this and you recognize some of these habits in your life, I want you to know something. You are not alone. Almost every client I have ever worked with had at least 3 or 4 of these habits before they turned things around. What matters is not where you are now, but the fact that you are willing to change. Breaking these habits is how you step into financial freedom. So I want to leave you with this. Think about the one habit from this list that hit you the hardest. Maybe it is paying yourself last. Maybe it is emotional spending. Maybe it is lifestyle inflation. Write it down, and this week, take one concrete step to break it. And then come back here and share it in the comments. I want to hear your story. Your story could inspire someone else to change their financial life too. And if this video spoke to you, hit the like button, subscribe, and share it with a friend who needs to hear it. Because together, we can break these habits and step into a future where money works for us instead of against us.